This is WTF, West Bank Talks Finance. And today we are talking about the total cost of ownership. I'm Lebogang Hawaketse. Thanks for listening. When you are budgeting for a car, it's easy to fixate on the installment amount. A simple and a big mistake that will trip you up. Once you factor in the cost of insurance, fuel, servicing, tires, and the parts, then you'll get to the real number you need to budget for. That's what we call the total cost of ownership. To make this a little less abstract, we compared 4 compact SUVs, 2 imports, a locally built model with both petrol and hybrid versions, and a Chinese brand that's become a strong contender in the South African market. Here's what stood out. Let's start with the obvious one, the monthly installment. The Chinese brand and the locally built petrol SUV came out cheapest with installments around 6,600. The hybrid version of that same SUV was near the imported models of just over 7,000. The gap might sound small, but a few $100 a month adds up to tens of thousands. Next up, let's talk insurance. In our comparison, one imported SUV had premiums that were about $150 lower per month than the others. That works out to as much as $9,000 to $10,000 over the contract. That's nothing to scoff at, right? Fuel is another big one. What you spend depends on how and where you drive. The hybrid SUV was most efficient in city driving, averaging about 5 liters per 100 kilometer. But on the highway, one of the imported petrol SUVs came out tops, closer to 6 liters per 100 kilometers. So the car that saves in traffic might not be the one that saves on long trips. Service plans and warranties play a big role too. They're not just fine print. The locally built SUV had the strongest service plan. One of the imports stood out with a 5-year unlimited kilometer warranty, and the Chinese brand went big with a 10-year engine warranty for the first owner. Those kinds of protections can save you serious money down the line. Then there's the question of parts and servicing, where locally built cars often have the edge. In our comparison, the locally built SUV, including the hybrid, had the most affordable and easily available spares. With imports, certain parts may need to be shipped in, which can mean higher costs and longer waits. And remember, once the service plan runs out, dealer services can cost nearly double what an independent workshop might charge. A service plan can feel expensive, but it locks in your costs and shields you from inflation. And finally, tires. They might all look round and black, but trust me, they don't all behave the same way once you hit the road. Budget tires for these SUVs started at about 1,200 Rand each, while premium tires were closer to 2,300 Rand. Cheaper tires wear out faster and can add meters to your braking distance on a wet road. Premium tires last longer and perform better, so what you spend upfront can pay off in both safety and cost. In South Africa, especially for us in Gauteng, our tires are our first line of defense against potholes. Budget tires might feel fine in the showroom, but hit a Josie crater and suddenly that saving doesn't feel like a bargain. So that's it. When you put it all together, the lesson is clear. The monthly installment is just one consideration. Don't fall into the trap of budgeting for that only. Insurance, fuel, servicing, spares and tires are what shape the true cost of ownership. If you are deciding on your next car, take your time to really suss out the full view. You owe that to yourself and of course your wallet. If there's anything more on today's topic you'd like to ask about, please do so in the comments. And if there are other topics you'd like us to unpack in future episodes, drop those suggestions in the comments too. Thanks for listening.